Let's start with a hard truth. Most enterprise automation doesn't fail because the tools are bad. It fails because enterprises underestimate how often judgment is required and how risky those moments really are. The moment a process reaches a decision point, traditional automation begins to struggle. That's the problem this entire series is about. Slide 2. The real problem. On slide 2, we're looking at the real failure point. Automation is great at handling predictable paths, where inputs are clean and outcomes are known. But the moment a process reaches a decision fork, judgment is required, and that's where risk accumulates. Not because systems can't execute, but because they can't reason about ambiguity. Slide 3. Automation works until it doesn't. On slide 3, this is where enterprises often get misled. Automation works beautifully in controlled, repeatable scenarios. Rules, workflows, and scripts do exactly what they're designed to do. But real business isn't linear, especially at moments that matter. As soon as context, timing, or stakeholder dynamics enter the picture, rigid automation starts to break down. Slide 4. Renewals are high-risk moments. On slide 4, we introduce our anchor use case, renewals. A renewal is the moment an existing customer decides whether to continue their contract. Renewals aren't just transactions, they're revenue moments, time-bound decisions, and relationship checkpoints, all compressed into a narrow window. A mistake here doesn't just cost efficiency, it can cost trust, forecast accuracy, and long-term growth. That's why renewals are such a powerful example of enterprise decision risk. Slide 5. Without AI agents. On slide 5, this is how renewals are usually handled today. Some cases are handled by static rules, others are manually reviewed by account executives, and very similar renewals often end up with very different outcomes. From an enterprise perspective, that inconsistency isn't just inefficiency, it's unmanaged risk. Slide 6. Why rules break down. On slide 6, we see the core failure mode. Two renewals can look identical on paper, same contract value, same usage, same account type, but require completely different decisions based on context, account history, engagement signals, timing, risk exposure. Rules can't weigh those factors. They can only check whether conditions match. That's why rules break down at scale. Slide 7. The hidden cost. On slide 7, let's talk about impact. Account executives lose a significant portion of their time gathering context instead of selling. Decisions stretch into days instead of hours, and at renewal moments, that delay can easily put hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue at risk. At enterprise scale, those costs compound quickly across teams, quarters, and portfolios. Slide 8. What enterprises actually need. On slide 8, we reframe the problem. Enterprises don't need faster automation. They need better judgment applied consistently. They need systems that help evaluate decisions while keeping humans clearly accountable for the outcome. This isn't about removing people. It's about supporting better decisions at scale. Slide 9. This is a decision problem. On slide 9, here's the key takeaway. This is not a tooling problem, it's not a UI problem, and it's not a workflow problem. It's a decision-making problem. That's why adding more tools, more rules, or more automation never fully solves it. Automation fails at decisions. Slide 10. Enter AI agents. On slide 10, this is where AI agents enter the picture. AI agents exist to reason about context before execution. They don't replace humans. They structure thinking. so humans stay in control while decisions become safer, faster, and more consistent. Think first, act later. Next, before we talk about Agentforce features, configuration, or UI, we need to answer a more fundamental question. What is an agent, really? That's exactly what we'll cover next.